Thanks for joining us on Journey to the Rise. We were going to hold off on dropping this episode because we get into some hefty details about the toxic workplace. But as we'd like to live our lives being transparent, we felt it was important to carry that on with this episode as well. And we feel the conversation of a toxic workplace needs to be discussed. Buckle up as we get very real and very honest on this episode.
All right, let's get into the next episode of Journey to the Rise with Lucretia and Chelsey. She says my name better. So today, okay, this has actually been on our hearts for a little bit. This has been in our chat for a little bit. And today we're talking about something big because right now there is a big old rise in corporate America. And, and there's also the need to find fulfilling work in our life more than ever. And how do you pull the plug on that quicker than anything? You get mixed up with toxic management.
Mm-hmm.
And we both have varied experience on this. And so if you're listening to this episode, this one's for you if you don't know if you are in a toxic management situation or if your boss is just telling you what to do.
Right.
Because sometimes bosses are tough, but some of the best bosses I've had have been hard asses and I've been grateful for it.
Right.
But then there's the ones that drift. And we might actually make this a two-parter. I don't know. I feel like we could go deep on this one. So Lucretia, you were the one who reached out with this idea. What inspired this, or what is on your heart right now?
Holy cow. So I had what I thought was, I still have a day job, W-2 job. And I had what I thought could have been the dream job to like really get me through to where I want to be with my business. And I noticed in February, I got invited by the CEO of the company to go to a board meeting. And my manager was pissed and did not want me to go because apparently she had never been invited to the board meeting.
And it begins.
Yeah. And I didn't think nothing of it. I was just like, wow, this is great. I've been in front of boards before. Like, all right, cool. So I went, did my presentation and talked to them. And at one point, there was a thrift store that was involved with this organization. They had different entities. And from January to February, so it was the second or third week of February, so 6 weeks I'd been there since December, but from January to February, so 6 weeks that I've been involved with the thrift store, I increased our profit margins. And so when the CEO said, for the first time since this thrift store has been open, we finally made a profit, which... Ooh. Awesome, but what the crap have you been doing for the past 15 years? But anyways, I digress. And so I like to share credit. And I said, it's a team effort. We're all working really hard. And one of the board members said, I'm going to stop you there because the staff who's been there has been there long enough. And the one variable that has changed is you. So you're the reason we're making a profit now. And I said, well, thank you so much. Yada, yada. And then I had a binder with me because I wanted to bring, again, I've done presentations in front of the board. They like numbers. They like to see results. And they said, what's that binder? And I said, well, I noticed when I started, there was no training or orientation manual, so I created one. And the CEO goes, we've been open for 30 years and we've never had one. Yeah. So then this gets back to the manager. And so I'm getting removed from management conversations, management meetings. I'm getting emails that say the management met. I'm like, oh, well, once upon a time I was a part of this, but okay, like that's fine. I'm not manager. Like I'm a peer role, I get it. Kind of strange, but I get it. And then the favoritism with one particular employee started to happen and it started to get toxic. And this employee decided to call her friends who worked at an associated business within our industry and had her friends call my manager and complain about me every day for 2 weeks until I got into trouble.
Oh, dear Lord.
For the first time in my life, I got written up. And I'm reading this document. I don't know who she's talking about. I have no idea who I thought it was a different employee. I'm like, why is my name on this? I don't know what you're talking about. She never came and talked to me, never once. And she even said, I know this isn't like you, and I know you're not this kind of person. Okay, then why didn't you come talk to me?
Mhm.
So, yeah. And then it just progressively got worse. And oh, and she also told me that the particular group of women, because we had different departments, this one department of women were out to get me, but it's not my fault because women can't work together because women are bitches. And I'm
Hello,
like,
Potheim Kettle. Nice to meet you.
amen
Uh,
to that, sister. So I left that day. I cried for 2 hours because I just didn't know what was happening. And I called my friend Sue. Sue was my manager when I was in Memphis. She's a marketing sales director, has been in the hospitality and management industry for 30 years plus. So I called her and she's like, you have a manager who's threatened by you. She's very insecure and bullshit on women can't get together or get along together. She goes, I've worked with plenty of women. When women can't get along, it's a management issue.
mm. Oh, okay. Can we can we put that as a quote somewhere?
Oh,
When
yeah.
women can't get along, and also I'll dare say when men can't get along,
Yep.
it's a management issue.
Mm hmm.
That's
Yeah.
oh man, dude. That's I think you said something really important there that I think doesn't get talked about enough is the pain of not knowing what's going on. Like
Oh, yeah.
and that's usually where most people get really, I dare say traumatized. Some of them have been traumatized. Like there
Mm
have been
hmm.
some people that I've worked with, and myself, I've been, you know, there's some trauma that happens, or again, even just deeply hurt and deeply affected
Mm
by
hmm.
something. They always say like, don't put your soul into the job because they'll replace you in a heartbeat.
Yep.
Yeah, but some people do.
Right.
People who really care about what they're doing,
Yeah.
whether it's their passion or whether they just have a passion for doing their best, they put their heart and soul, everything. You put your heart and soul into everything you do.
Mm
And I
hmm.
know that personally from every endeavor I've seen you go through, and from every job, every career, every business you've put into. You go full Lucretia. And you know there's always a little bit of a sense, and if you're in this situation, if you're getting that sense that no, that you've put in good faith, they are putting in good faith, and there's still something that's happening that is starting to kind of slowly push you out.
Mm hmm.
Listen to that sense. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have to burn the place down,
Right.
but
But start looking for a new job.
yeah,
Just
because
start looking for a new job because one, you don't deserve that treatment. I was trying to find something a friend of mine sent me about how favoritism will tear apart a department, but the manager who allows it will destroy an entire company. And it's not
yeah,
fair to you. Like, if you're putting your heart and soul, even if it's just to pay the bills, you don't deserve to be treated that way because it just becomes obnoxious. It started in April where, so we work 4-day work weeks. Thursday, no, it'd be Sunday night. I would start dreading Monday morning and I would start
hmm
delaying going to bed. And I did this when I worked for the company that I worked for in Nashville was decent ish as long as you had a good manager. And we switched managers. Our manager got a promotion. She was put into another department. And all of a sudden, like, she tried to turn us women against each other, but thankfully we had been bonded, so she couldn't. So that made her mad. And I started like delaying going to bed because it meant, oh, I have to get up the next morning. And that returned. So Sunday night, I was going to bed instead of around like 9:30 because I was getting up at 4:30. I was going to bed around 11:30. And then after a couple of weeks of that, it was Saturday. I was dreading it. And then the past 3 weeks, probably a month, Thursday. Thursday night, I was dreading going to work the following Monday. And nobody deserves that. Like, and when I was told, like, oh, these women are out to get you, I said, then I have work to do. If that is the case, then that is truth. I have to go make things right. I need to go make some apologies and I need to go have some conversations because that's not okay that
No, no, no,
I've
no,
done
don't do
something.
that. Tell you what, just go get bitter and, go start attacking them, which is what that person probably wanted. You start the drama. And
Yep.
then when they are
Yep.
wondering why Lucretia started the drama, then, it's all gonna, no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, don't go face this head on. What are you doing?
Right. That's exactly what the manager wanted me to do. And I went and started having adult conversations and found out many of them said you have nothing to apologize for. We've seen through it. A couple did very sincerely and thankfully accept my apology, and we started to work more cohesive as a
Yeah.
team, and the manager became livid. It was, we couldn't understand it. We were working so well and like things were happening, and the complaints I was getting on me didn't line up because I was getting text messages and phone calls from other entities and people involved saying, man, since you've been there, this place has gotten so much better. I'm so glad you're there. And I'm like, then what is happening? And then finally one day somebody at work slipped up and I'm like, oh, so you had your little friends because I called you out on some stuff. You got mad. Okay, I got it. This is like dots started to connect. But it's interesting because last Friday, back up a step, about 4 weeks ago, a staff member's like, look, we are falling apart. The manager has been tearing us apart. We don't want to work this way. Can we have a staff meeting? And they specifically asked for her to not be there. Can we have a staff meeting so we can repair what's broken?
Isn't that funny? If you work hard enough to divide your company, eventually your company will unite against you.
Yep. Well, and I think it's interesting that last Wednesday I said, look, I can't, thank you for letting me be a part of it. I can't make it. I hope you have a great time. And this one woman looked at me. She goes, nope, we're rescheduling. Turned on her heel, walked down the hallway. And then I found out from everyone who was going, we're rescheduling. When do you want to go? So then Thursday of last week, I get pulled into a meeting and I was informed my position has been eliminated. Even though from January to March, I increased their thrift store profit margins by 173%. And in January, I was told during a meeting that they've never been able to get their Facebook engagement score above a 3, and I got it to a 7 in 3 weeks.
There's a really, really petty part of me that
Do
wants you to
tell.
go on LinkedIn and find somebody in connection with the company and apply for a job in higher corporate.
Oh,
It's very, very petty, and it's the whole thing is you probably I don't know what your thoughts on this are, but unless it's been like a mom and pops, one owner kind of business thing. I've
sure.
never really worked for corporate, so I can't tell you how this all works, but there's a petty rebel part of me that wants you to stick it to that person and go one notch higher than them. That's just me. That's just me. And that's naughty Chelsey.
No, I appreciate that. Well, it's a local nonprofit. And I think it's interesting because since they eliminated my position, they offered me so again, I was not management, but they offered me a management position with a $5 pay cut. And some job duties that were left out until this past Monday that I'm not interested or qualified to do. So we had a Zoom call with the manager who runs that. I was also being transferred to a different location to get me completely off site. And yeah, after the Zoom call we had Tuesday at 8 a.m., I'm like, you're just phasing me out. Because I also found out they've taken my job that they don't need and they're piecing it apart and giving it to employees. And these employees are contacting me saying, I'm not qualified to do this. I'm like, well, just make sure you get a pay raise. They're like, we got $1. I'm like, oh, dear diary.
And okay,
You can retire now.
oh man, okay, now I'm having a conscience attack here and saying like, okay, maybe we shouldn't air some of these details. Unless we
I
feel
will
like
be delaying this until I know it's safe. So, like, this particular episode may be delayed out of our series that we're recording today.
we'll redact the
Um,
hell out of it. We're just gonna put a blank, one of those little color bars and the old school beep TV.
that's why I'm not
But
saying any names.
no, and nor should you. And that's okay. So here's the other thing,
Mhm.
real quick. And I don't know what is going to get aired on this and what is not. So I might be speaking a little out of my ass on this one. But my own personal philosophy is don't until you are done with the company, until you are like, nope, this they don't align with my values, none of their partners do,
Mhm.
nobody in this industry ever again should want to hire me, nor should I ever apply with them, because we are just so out of alignment that this is a different universe. um Please, guys, don't take to social media about it. It's the employers are smarter, and I have heard of
Oh
so
yeah.
many stories of people who thought they were posting anonymously, or people who thought that they were, this and and no, they still got
Mhm.
found out. And
Mhm.
there, I think the better way to handle it is the way that you handled it, Lucretia, which is, just step away,
Yep.
step away. It's you have so much more going for you, and I really, on a spiritual aspect of things, when things like this happen, you are getting let go before the shit hits the fan. You are
That.
getting
Yep.
let go. You are getting removed from ground zero, and
Yeah.
God love you for it, because that is, um, yeah. I've had similar experiences, and I can go into those. But to the people who are listening right now and wondering, okay, what's toxic, what's not? What would you say are like three key identifiers that let you know that this wasn't just somebody who was being human and possibly
Mhm.
being, because I mean, okay, look, not all managers are, not all toxic managers, not all things that turn out to be toxic are from toxicity. Some managers climbed the ladder a little too quickly and they wanted to get to management and then they didn't know how to manage. Um,
That's what happened here.
okay.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
instead of either learning how to manage or stepping away from
Mhm.
management, because I
Mhm.
actually, okay, so here's a quick little tangent. So I talked my way into managing a massage franchise. Funny thing is, they actually meant to give the job to another Chelsey, and they got the names mixed up. I had no business doing
No way.
it. Yeah, the ownership wasn't
Get out.
all that organized. And this is, again, this was a franchise, so it was independent ownership. So depending on which owners you had, could be great, could be awful.
Yep.
Um, so I found myself in a management position, and the employees, the staff was angry because the ownership was so awful and so lackadaisical. I mean, we were getting we were getting people walking in with serving papers on a weekly basis. People would walk in with, those manila
What?
envelopes. Hey, is so and so and so, Mr. and Mr. So and so here? Nope, haven't seen them. And we were expressly told to say that we hadn't seen them. Um,
What?
so yeah,
Dang.
um, so the staff was angry because they would get skipped paychecks, or they would get no support, or
Oh
people would.
no.
Management was changing so regularly with this
Yeah.
particular location. They had a couple, and 3 months. I had a 3 month trial period, and like that was technically a training period. Dude, I demoted myself. I called the owners, and on the end of my 3 months I said, hey, look, we gave this 3 months. I am not fit for this position. I'm not, can I please just go down to front desk?
Mhm.
And I think that was the best thing I ever did. And the funny thing is, I got feedback from the employees with the manager afterwards, who climbed the ladder and just wanted the title.
Mhm.
Um, and, I think this person's grown a lot since. But, at the time, this person was a kid, and they just, all they wanted, like, was to climb that ladder as quickly as possible.
Sure.
And the employees were saying, we miss you. And I'm like, I was not
Oh.
doing a good job. I was not doing a good job. And they
Right.
go, no. Here's the funny thing. They go, no, we know. But at least you cared. I was like,
That's That's huge. Having some empathy, respect for people, caring. That was a big thing with this particular individual. She was like, "You're being disrespectful to me." I'm like, "Because you have no respect for me. Like, I'm only going to take it for so long." So the fact that you had staff who, like, had that respect enough to care and say, "Look, we miss you. We get that. Maybe it wasn't a fit, but you cared." That goes a long way in management. And you either have that gene or you don't. You can fake it. Like, if you really know this is not my strength and you want to be in management, I encourage you to work on that. But the fact that you had staff who recognized your heart speaks volumes of who you are as a person.
I mean, I'll take that any day. And here's also the thing. I was 24, and look,
Yeah.
I love the 24-year-olds right now. But when you're 24, when you're 24 years old, trying to manage 30 to 55-year-olds, it's you had better have an aura of steel. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have it. And
Mm-hmm.
I've learned so much in 12 years since then. Yeah, I'm 36. I'm now qualified as ancient by some standards.
Oh my goodness
Um,
gracious.
but to go back to my original point, not every toxic manager is a toxic person. Sometimes they're just an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right, hand raise here. Um, but also, there are some managers, when you start noticing that wall of deception going up, that's a huge, huge flag that this isn't a situation you need to stay in. This
Right.
is not, I've also had those managers that were very fluffy and very woo woo. Again, I came from the spa
Mm-hmm.
industry, and they would say, "Oh, you're loved." And they would have meetings once a month, and they would bring bagels. Look, you can win me over with a bagel pretty easily.
Oh
But
yeah, girl, me too.
yeah, pastries go a long way, guys, but not
Mm-hmm.
all the way. Because then she would, like, send out these little emails. You're loved and appreciated. And this was also a manager who would have, she had like an anti-favorite. Like every month to every other month, she'd find somebody to pick on. And that person would just get called into the office, called in, and then she would move on to another person. And then she would
What's
move on to another person. It was,
what's the
you
point
know,
of that? That's exhausting.
okay, so can we geek out psychologically here? Because I've been thinking about this the
Yes.
entire time we've been
Yes.
talking.
Insecurities, bring it.
So, okay, here's the thing that I'm starting to realize that, and I'm full vulnerability. I'm starting to realize it in myself. Whenever I am deeply, deeply anxious, I
Mm-hmm.
act in a way that I don't want to be. I don't
Yeah.
think that toxic managers wake up in the morning, pour their cup of coffee, and go, I wonder how I can screw with people today. I don't think they consciously think that. It'd be a lot of effort to do so.
Mm-hmm. I
But
think it exists, but I agree with you.
yeah, I mean, honestly, there are some people who really just see people as minions, and they do end up
Yeah.
actually getting to pretty high positions because they're sociopathic and they don't have the same
Right.
rules in their brain as we do.
Right. Don't
Not,
work for
not,
those companies.
yeah, just don't work for them. Just that's a diagnosis that's out of my scope. But the more important thing is when you find somebody and they might tend to love bomb you at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of your employment. This is a
Mm-hmm.
great company. We love you. Oh, you're doing so great. We love you. We appreciate you. They'll buy you flowers on your birthday. I got flowers on my birthday from this boss. It was great. I thought that
Yeah.
this was the best boss ever. But when it turned, it turned.
Mm-hmm.
And when you excel at your job, you're going to rub some people the wrong way. And that's where you see who really is a leader and who just got into their position to climb the ladder. And
Mm-hmm.
insecurity can convince you of some effed up shit. Insecurity can in fact convince you that everyone is against you and you must keep control of the situation. I bet you
Yes.
anything that's what happened to this manager. Is I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
if you met her on a stable day, her, him, I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
if you met this person on a stable day, they'd be a peach. I'm sure that, amongst their friends, well, maybe, I don't know. Sometimes also this is a trait that carries through social
Right.
circles. So,
Yeah.
but the second you hit the insecure button, the second you start hitting them questioning themselves, their ego just goes all shields up. And now it becomes a matter of, I have to control the situation.
Mm-hmm.
This other person who has triggered me is now poison in my well. And I have to get this person out of the picture. They start seeing you as poison in the well. They
Mm-hmm.
start seeing you as a troublemaker. And the funny thing is, it's all an illusion caused by their insecurity. And we can talk about this and we can philosophize about it, but it's, I think that I think the only reason I'm bringing it up and the only use of bringing this up is because we can go on these podcasts, we can talk about this, and so many people do. And it's always like, okay, well, this person was just toxic. And they kind of become like this little like cartoonish version of a toxic person. And we all start thinking, well, this person just is doing this to cause trouble. Yes and no. They're doing it because now their brain has convinced them that you're the toxic one.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this all to say, there's not really any fighting that. It's
No.
it's a rare
No.
person. It is a very rare person. It is a very rare combination of people who can go in early on and say, "Hey, look, I'm sensing maybe there's some tension. Is there? Am I crazy? Like, I don't know. I never like to lead with "Am I crazy?" But am I misinterpreting this, or have I done something to offend you? Have I done something to cause a rift? You know, and most managers will say, no, no, and they'll just keep
Yeah.
pulling their malarkey.
Right.
It's a very rare meeting that can go like, yeah, actually, you know what? I'm a little bit, I'm feeling a little salty about the way that you talk to the managers. I feel like you disrespected me. Okay, well, no, that
Mm-hmm.
was not my intention. I mean, it's rare. My own personal tactic is to just, when I start sensing that, start looking for another job.
Yeah. Because you can also, a simple question, are you okay?
Oh yeah, you'd be surprised at how many times that can either break down a person or it can make them throw their walls up harder.
Right. Yeah. And the insecurity, like as I've been, of course, I was psychoanalyzing because that's what my brain does, the situation. It
Yeah,
really
this
comes
is the
down
fun
to
stuff for me.
she's insecure. I've been told by multiple people, some who know her, some who are just like, and when I share the story with personal outside of work, I try to be very like, I try not to sugarcoat it. Like, this is, because I want my friends to give me honest feedback. And they've all said, like, she's threatened by you. And when I really just kind of look at it, it's like, this is an insecure, unhappy person who's had situations in her life that, good, bad, or ugly, she's never addressed and never worked through because happiness is an inside job. So if you're going to be that unhappy towards not just me, but other staff, um, that's something you need to work through, whether you find an intuitive healer or you go to a retreat or you take the time to figure out what works for you. Like,
Or
stop
maybe,
taking your inner shit out on other people. It's not
or
a
maybe,
solution.
maybe just realize that management's not your gig.
Yes,
Not
that
every,
too.
not everybody. My uncle worked for UPS for a while, and they wanted him to be a manager. He was a damn good driver. Everyone loved him. I mean, like he was the UPS guy who would have like I think he had dog biscuits, but the way people loved him, you would have thought he had dog biscuits. Like
Yeah.
he was just really fantastic at what he did. And I remember being a little kid and seeing him sit down around the table with my parents, and they're all just talking over glasses of wine. And he's like, no, you they asked me to be manager again. No, I said, you won't catch me dead as a manager. He knew that about himself,
Mm-hmm.
that the skills and the strength of heart and all of the qualifications that make a manager a really good manager, he knew he didn't have them. He liked his
Yeah.
job. He was doing great. He
Yeah.
was making great money where he was. He was an expert at what he did. You don't always have to climb the ladder, man.
Mm-mm.
You don't always have to climb the ladder. And if you desire a higher salary, find something in your life that you can either maybe create a business around or that you can get really, 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 really good at. I mean, let's face it, data entry is probably not the best thing you can get really, really good at. Find something you can get really, really good at and excel to the point where you could probably be making more money than a manager.
Mm-hmm.
Because the punchline to this entire episode is it's just not worth it to try to make right a toxic situation because it's toxic. It's not even just misunderstood at that point, it's toxic.
Yeah. And when
When
they're
it's
coming at you, it's not about you, it's about them. And that was the other frustrating situation. Like, um, when I was training horses, I got to see a horse trainer by the name of Ray Hunt, legend in the horse industry. It was one of the most amazing weekends of my life. And I remember him citing a poem, which is on his website, and I believe it's called The Man in the Mirror. And the one thing that stuck out to me was stop pointing the finger and start pointing the thumb. And if you don't take time to do self reflection and say, what is my part in this on both sides? Just like when I was told the staff was out to get me, what is my part? What have I done to cause that? Because if I have a group of women out to get me, I need to figure that out. I need to go make things right. I need to do self reflection. And with those conversations, I quickly found out it had nothing to do with me. It was my approach at times, but I was told to do certain things.
yeah.
And so then we had conversations, and then things evened up to a point where when they had a staff outing for breakfast, they canceled it because I couldn't go. And
And
I,
it's funny. I can't, my ADHD brain won't let me not say this. I'm not surprised that a horse trainer told you that. Horses will reflect to you every bit of your bullshit.
mm-hmm,
Every little bit of your BS. Horses will reflect to you. And if they're acting up, there's a couple days where they're just deciding to be ornery. But most of the time, if they're acting up, it's because of you. It's because of
mm-hmm.
what you're bringing to the table. It's because of your energy. I'm
Yes.
not surprised that a horse master taught you that.
Yeah,
Horse master. I've been
he's
reading way too much fantasy novels lately.
he's incredible. He's the movie and the book The Horse Whisperer was actually after
Oh,
him. He
okay.
hated being called the Horse Whisperer because he's like, I'm talking to them. I'm just communicating in their language. I'm not whispering. It drove him crazy.
Right.
But yeah, Ray Hunt's amazing, and he also helped me recognize, because I hated hearing like, oh, you help horses, was it the horse has problems, it's a problem horse, it's a problem
Yeah.
horse. And he's like, that horse is fine until the human interfered. He goes, I hate that it's called a horse problem, because that horse didn't have a problem so like that really was instrumental. And when I would train horses, it's like, all right, what did the human do here to cause such and such issue that you're in my training program? And we'd work through it and be fine.
I'm I'm convinced of it. Working with animals teaches you how to work with people.
Yeah.
And
That's why
it's
the whole chicken therapy, because like if you go into a pen of chickens and you're just like, ah, they're going to be like, but if you go in there calm, like, and that's where they're forgiving, but you have to give them time to figure you out. And that's with any animal, like that's where I want to offer that space where you can go in with these hens and work your stuff out, because like they're going to make you laugh. They're going to make you self-reflect if you are open and willing to try. Because if they're some, they all have their chickenality. Some just don't want to be around you. And if you're okay with that, that again can be healing, because some employees will be like, I don't like the manager. I'm intimidated. I'm scared. But again, if it's like, okay, well, that's not really a me issue, because it's that chicken that doesn't want to be around you. It's that employee that doesn't be around you. Doesn't mean you can't be copacetic and be able to get along and figure each other out. But are you willing to put in the time and the patience to let it settle? And that's whether it's a dog, a chicken, a horse, cows. You have to let them come to you.
now in dealing with toxic people in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Now again, a toxic manager, there's a hierarchy there that you can't always break. And that's why we're
Yep.
saying, just probably in your best interest, unless this is your passion job and you are like your passion company and you're gonna skip out of there eventually anyway, and move higher. It's usually just easier to leave. But in in working together to help prevent a situation from becoming toxic, I think everything Lucretia's saying is right. Give people the space and give yourself space to figure them out and give them space to figure you out. In the meantime, stay in your highest integrity. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if there is a little bit of, drama going on over here, give it space before you dive in. I think that's the best advice that we can offer for just a general toxic workplace. If you're starting to see the signs of early toxicity, don't run right away. Don't jump in right away.
Mm-hmm.
Give it space and assess the situation. Don't participate in the drama. Don't
No, do
overreact and say,
not
"Hey,
do
I heard you
that.
had a problem with me." Da, da, da. And also, don't overreact in your own heart. Don't go like, "Oh my god, they hate
Right.
me. Like they're out. I
Right.
don't know what I did to them." Just like working with animals, don't panic.
Mm-hmm.
Assess the situation, and is this a situation that just needs to be diffused? Can
Right.
it be healed with just a simple adult conversation of, "Hey, you okay? Is everything, I've heard, there's something going on here. I would like to apologize if there's something that needs to be apologized for."
Right.
Or is it just absolutely effed and you do need to get out? You won't know
Mm-hmm.
until you take space to see it for what it is.
Yeah, assess the situation.
Yeah.
That's when I would train horses and I would step into the round pen with them. I had a professor, equine professor, Larry Caston, brilliant man, amazing with horses. And he would always tell you, because like he's like, when you go to train, the owners are gonna want to give you the life story. He goes, don't listen. That horse is gonna tell you everything you need to know. And that's kind of like the coworkers, right? Because the coworkers are gonna be like, beep, 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 beep. Go in and figure it out yourself. Just like when you meet someone and you're like, oh my god, I've heard this person is just like horrible. Are they? Or are
I'm
they
sorry,
just
could
been
you do that one?
or
Who
have
was
they
it?
just been
Oh my
treated like
gosh.
crap?
You sounded like Molly Shannon in Superstar. Horrible.
I just remember my friend Dawn telling me she went to this office and everyone hated this one woman. She had a corner office. She had busted her butt to get this corner office, but everyone hated her. But no one could really say why. So she started to like go have conversations and get to know her and found out she was a lovely person. She was like excellent at her job, and to this day they're best friends
And
because
that
she
is,
went and assessed herself. Don't just rely on somebody else's opinion, on somebody else. Go learn for yourself. Assess the situation. Let them show you who they are and then believe them. If they show you that they are a horrible POS, believe them. If they show you that they have a heart of gold, believe them. Stop. You don't get caught up in the me about this person. Take the time to assess and figure out who they are and then believe them. If they are a crappy person, then be civil. Don't engage in the stupid drama. Be like, oh my god, did you hear what so and so did? Who cares? Do your job. You're there to pay bills. If you hate it, you're there to pay bills and put it on a resume and move on. But I don't know, make your life interesting enough that you don't have to be talking about other people in a nasty way. Who has
yes,
time for that shit? We're
amen to that.
grown.
So, my last final thought on this, because I mean, this episode just dove in. Um, I think the clearest that I can put it is the difference between somebody who is a challenging person to work for, but who ultimately has your best and highest good. Um, my mom and I joke. My dad was a great leader at his company, and during the right times, he could be a real a hole.
Mm-hmm.
He could absolutely be a jerk when he needed to be, and it wasn't a jerk in that he manipulated things, but he would just look at you point blank and go, "No, that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
work." Like he wouldn't fluff it, and that can be really jarring to the system when somebody looks back at us and just says no.
Right.
Um, if you're dealing with one of those people, it doesn't always mean they're toxic. The
Mm-hmm.
difference between a toxic person and somebody who is direct and challenging is a good leader might have to be unpleasant for the good of the company and the good of the employees
Mm-hmm.
and the good of their team. If there is somebody who is getting on to you because you haven't done your work and they are being unpleasant, that's not necessarily toxic.
Right.
That is them challenging you to grow and to rise to the occasion for the good of the team, for the good of you, for the good of the company.
Mm-hmm.
If a person is being unpleasant for the good of their ego, that's toxicity.
Yeah.
If a person is being unpleasant to you to lift themselves up, to elevate their status, to make themselves feel better,
Mm-hmm.
run
Right.
fast and far and in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
That is where toxicity happens. If somebody is just short or not exactly as nice as you would prefer them to be, I've had plenty of people who have called me in and said, here's the situation. And let me tell you, it doesn't feel good. Anytime you go into that office, I don't care if it's a client, I don't care if it's a boss, it never feels good to have
Right.
somebody sit there with that business voice on.
Mm-hmm.
But if they've got the business voice because it's ultimately for the good of the team and good of the company, and they're acting in what they truly believe is the best and highest good, that's not a bad leader.
Right.
That's probably someone you can have a conversation with and say, hey, look, I know that you're looking out for the best of the company here, but it really throws me. Could we please have some other system of communication that will allow you
Yeah.
to communicate what I need to do
Mm-hmm.
and will allow me to receive it without going into fight or flight? There
Right.
are those are the people you can actually have conversations with. People who are toxic will be unpleasant to you and they might
Mm-hmm.
put their business voice on, but typically what I see is they actually put their nice voice on. Isn't that funny? Like the toxic
Yeah.
people are the ones who fluff things because they don't have a lot of substance there. You can always tell when somebody's really a good leader because they don't often have to fluff it. They can
Right.
stand on what's in them.
Right.
Um,
And that
so that
reminds me of a professor I had, Dr. Meg Swanson. Love you so much. I don't know if she'll ever listen to this. She was a theater history professor, voice and articulation professor, brilliant woman. But I just remember she was the toughest professor I had, but because her standards were here
yeah
and she knew you could be here. So she expected you to meet her there. And at the time, I hated it.
yeah oh
I
yeah
hated it. But at one point, I don't know if it was the second class I had with her, I was like, she's trying to make me better. She's trying to help me. Like, she's not doing this to be a horrible. She was a brilliant professor, excellent at what she did. She's a brilliant woman. And I still carry that with me. She was challenging not just me, everyone who is, if you are around her, she has standards. Rise up to them. So, like, she was never, ever. Now, there's another professor who, some of the stuff you've been saying, he was very ego driven and, like, he was horrible. But, like, she was tough and she would tell you how it was. But you know what? When someone tells you how it is, you know where you stand. And sometimes you have to get there and be direct. And if they're doing it not to be hateful, but to be helpful, you can't be mad at that. You just have to accept, like, this is how they communicate. And maybe it's not how I communicate. And sometimes you can go be like, man, that was a little, whew, like, and they're like, yeah, that's how they communicate. And see if they can maybe soften it. Some can, some can't.
okay, I think that's the perfect place to end this. Like that mic drop right there. It's oh man, this
Lessons
has
from Dr.
been
Swanson, carrying on for many years. Thank you,
oh
UW River Falls.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, honestly, Lucretia, get that chicken therapy up. Like if you want to go see Lucretia at the farm, if you want to go experience what it's like to actually just get grounded and get connected back to nature, connect with Lucretia. Like reach out, DM us. But most importantly, get to the farm. Get to the farm, get back in nature, get grounded. Because chances are you might need some of that perspective, especially if you've been dealing with toxicity and especially if you've been trapped in a job where your soul is dreading Monday. So, with that, we love you. Stay tuned to the next episode. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Journey to the Rise. If you want to connect with Chelsey, head over to her website, chelsealberthealing.com. That is CHELSEYALBERT healing.com. To access Tasklandia, go to your Google Play Store and download the app today. If you're ready to renew and rediscover yourself, come and be feral on the farm. Find out more at farmgirlcamp.com/farm-retreats. Thanks for listening to this episode of Journey to the Rise.